I have actually seen a lot of businesses fail out of pure stubbornness or not realizing how much they hinder their own business without procedure. So if you refuse to follow up procedure and if you get all these strategies and do not implement them, then you cannot expect your business to thrive. Like really, you need to have a set system for implementation. I found that that's a huge issue.
Welcome to Startpreneurs. Today we have an exceptional guest, Marija Todorović Aska. Marija is a multipreneur with a PhD in economy, an MA in opera, and a passion for holistic business approaches. She teaches marketing and management and is a personal development coach with psychodynamic orientation. Join us as she shares her insights on achieving success through a balanced and thoughtful journey. Let's dive in. My first question for you is, with someone with your background, how does one find their purpose and turn that into an online business?
Yes, well, an easy one to, just warm up this conversation. Finding a purpose is really a very, very broad question, but it comes down to a single point and a single question, and that is who you are. That's a question that I usually ask my students, and at first they maybe laugh a little bit, like, "Who am I?" And but it's actually an essential question because people tend to define themselves on the basis of what they usually know, like I'm male, female, or whatever gender. I am from this country, that country. I believe in this and that, but those are just like statistical information. And to find your purpose, you really have to dig into what makes you you, meaning what is your uniqueness. In business terms, that applies to brands as well, because you always look for what's your unique sales proposition, what's your most valuable proposal, how do you stand out from your surroundings and from everyone and everything else. So you have to start from within. You have to start from the place of love. And when I say from the place of love, I really mean like from the place of love towards yourself first, because you have to love something that you know well. So you have to start knowing yourself well. And then you know what you enjoy, what you like. And then you can start really touching base with what's your purpose, because otherwise you will just be taking life as it comes and not running your life towards your happiness. You have to communicate with the world around you and then see how you behave in different situations, how you react, and then maybe detect the points in which you can become better. You have to be willing to fail. Everyone says so, and it's really true. It's not something that those business coaches just say, but you learn more from your failures than from your successes. And also, there is a very good advice that I personally received, and that is that you should probably tune to hearing what people around you ask from you, like what's your area of brilliance. So what is it that people usually approach you and ask you to do? Like, why would they come to you and not to someone else? Is it a piece of advice? Is it a second look? Is it something regarding design? Is it some advice regarding the structure of a meeting or of an event or whatever? Like, when you have friends, what is it your task to do within your friends, like within your friend group? And then just follow your gut feeling, because our guts are actually our second brain. I have failed several times when I refused to follow my gut feeling, and usually ended up in that area that I said that's good, like failing or just getting some huge amount of experience, and but also getting to know myself better by learning what I do not want to do. Like, that's also a good lesson. What doesn't feel right when you do it.
So, are there any questions that we can ask ourselves to really gain a better, deeper self-awareness?
What are questions that we can ask ourselves? Well, I think it would be better to just find a coach, a therapist, a life coach, or just there are a lot of questions. But I would prefer to focus on skills because those questions tend to be individual. So I cannot really answer that. There are no general questions for who we are. In business, there are general things like Adiges Pae formula that if you are building a team, in example, this could be interesting for someone who is in HR, but I suppose they already know that. So we all have some certain skills that we have in a larger or not amount or not so much, and that's productivity, administration, integration, and entrepreneurship. So an example, my PAE formula would be medium to big productivity. Like I'm very good in production. Like I can work a lot and fast. But then administration is a segment that I hate. Like I literally, there are people who are fans of Excel and there are people like me who are like, please, keep me away from it. So my A would be a little bit small. And then you have PA, entrepreneurship is the next one. Sorry. So I'm a big entrepreneur. I have numerous ideas and multiple projects at the same time, etc. So my E would be the biggest one out of these four. And then integration. I am very good at teams, working both as a member of a team or leader. So I would have a pretty large I as well. And you don't want to build a team of the same people. So, but to do so, you have to test other people. And if you want to test other people, you can start from yourself and just think about these four, skills. What's my biggest skill out of these? Just these four. Like, what's my area of expertise? Like, where do I feel best? I don't feel well in administration, but I had to learn it for work, and I use tools to help me out. So by learning who you are and learning where you feel like you're enjoying yourself working and what comes to you effortlessly, that's a good place to start. If you start thinking, I don't know, oh, someone's offering me a work in administration, but I hate it, but oh, well, it pays well, you're going to be miserable and you're going to burn out real fast. Also, if you're running a team and you have two people who are great entrepreneurs, you're going to have a clash because it's very hard for those people to communicate. So if you're working, that's also a good tip on how to choose your clients. You don't want people who are constantly, clashing with your ideas. So I also try to look for clients who match my formula so that we can work together and not like have points of clash all the time. And this is why all of this is so important, because in the end, we talk about our lives, like what makes us happy. And purpose in life is something, it's on the top of Maslow's list. So it's a very hard, you have all these other steps to follow until you reach the question of purpose. And some people, and it's a sad truth, never reach it. So they never find their purpose for numerous reasons. I mean, we have to survive. We have sometimes it's for the family purposes, and not to mention the position of women in the world, where they have even more responsibilities, and sometimes it's even harder, especially after having kids, to remember who they were outside of these other roles that we take upon us. So it's very hard. And also, one more very important point, that purpose can shift and change. It's not something carved in stone, so we can change our purpose. And that's beautiful, I think, because we can allow ourselves to change. And with digital marketing and all these digital technologies, it's even more fun because numerous things are, coming every day. Like we with the advancement of technology, we always have new things coming up. So you can embrace some new technologies and become an expert in something new, or you can integrate it with your existing business, like with AI. I love AI. I'm completely in love with it. It's been a huge help to me, but it's a different topic, but sometimes I argue with it. Sometimes you're having a bad day, like I'm not talking to it, like literally. But prompting has become something new. So we can't say that someone's purpose in life is to become the best AI prompter. But I think everyone's purpose in life is to be good in what we do and feel happy with the results. So that's something intrinsic. It's beyond what clients pay us. So when I choose clients, one big item for me is that I feel happy working in that industry and that industry is in tune with my values. So you have to know what your values are. And that also sometimes is intertwined with your cultural background, your way of upbringing, etc., etc.
So you talked about, direction and finding your values and in order to find your purpose. How does one start? I mean, there's so many tools online. There's so many coaches. What's the best way?
What's the best way to start? Well, that's a question with a simple answer. You just start. Don't ask yourself if you can do something. You just do it. So, and ask to do it. Ask the people around you. Talk about what you want to do. Do it for free. Scout. Try to find mentors, programs. See who resonates with your values, and never say no.
Yeah.
You don't know. So if you don't know something, then I'm sure you can find someone who does and share the work, because obviously you're in a position of negotiation because you maybe know something. So if there is a segment that you don't know, you can always, delegate. Learn how to delegate. That's especially when you're moving towards towards higher levels of management. That's a bigger skill. Like you have to know how to delegate and to whom. Uh, and also there's strength in numbers. So try to find people that you can do projects with together, or if you don't know how to do something, learn it. So what better incentive is to learn something than getting paid to do it, to learn it? And you have to keep learning. So daily. With our business, it's really essential. Unfortunately, I mean, that is our truth in this line of business. You have to be on your toes at all times. So be quick and fluid and fast thinking, adaptive. So that's why I always say not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. Many people end up being miserable. Like they just, some people should work steady jobs from, 9 to 5, and they're happy. I don't agree with this pressure that people who work 9 to 5 are missing out on their, I don't know, lives or happiness. It's not true. And many people who quit their jobs and tried doing this entrepreneurial life ended up miserable. So it's not for everyone. You really have to ask yourself some tough questions before you even enter this line of business. I mean, this way of doing business. And especially if you're not prepared to embrace agile management. So for me, agile management is something that I'm a firm supporter of because it's based on some key values, such as that individuals and interactions are in focus more than processes and tools. So you have to be quick to adapt and change. And in this era and time that we live in, it's really so essential. And also key value for agile management is that it's more important that you have all your softwares working than to focus on documentation. And you should focus on customer collaboration more than on some contractual things. Of course, you have to follow up on your contract, but sometimes, you can tweak them a little bit if the situation requires. Like, I'm not going to charge my clients extra for a post if they had an interview or, like I'm doing today, sat on some podcast and talked with someone and I have to share it. So I'm not going to charge them extra for it. It's a normal thing for me, at least. Or and you have to really be prepared to respond to change over just following some plan, because procedures take a lot of time. to make, and then to follow, and then to document, because when you do something, you also should document it afterwards. And please do that. Like, keep everything in email. Email has timestamps, and protect yourself. Like, no matter how much you trust your clients, no matter what and who's your client, and no matter how well of a job you do, just keep everything documented and traceable and transparent, and then remember me and thank me later. You should also invest in legal knowledge and some accounting knowledge, but also on your like human values, some human characteristics, like try to be kind, try to be completely transparent. All my clients, they know some things about me, and we can talk. And my first priority when I choose whether or not to work with someone is I don't ask myself whether or not I can do it. I ask myself whether or not I can have a beer with that person or coffee. Like, is that a normal setup? Because work takes up a lot of our time, and we are in contact with our clients a lot. And I want that time that I'm in touch with them and that I work for them to really enjoy and feel like we're in that together. I like hands-off approach, but I really like them involved in when I need them to, like in some creative moments or just approving things, etc. Also, another thing that's really important, and I think, is that you should choose courses in your own local surrounding. I think people sometimes maybe forget that, but visiting conferences, going to local seminars, and there's so many um, educational seminars that you can visit that are completely free. Um, that is the way you build networks, and you can connect to your like-minded people, and they can turn out to be invaluable resources of knowledge, collaboration potential, and even for business growth. Like, I have personally met several of my business associates through such events, some of them through work, like regular work when you apply and get the job, etc. But what I felt has been the biggest push for me, before you even sit at a table, because sometimes the most difficult part is getting to that table with a client, or really getting even a chance to negotiate or present your business or your capacities. It's WOM, so WOM, like word of the mouth. It has worked well for me, most than anything else. Just meeting people and talking about what I do and what I want to do, who's my ideal client. Like you heard from what I said, I really know who my ideal client is, and that's how they find me, because people know what I enjoy and recommend people to me, or they recommend me to other people. But there is a catch. You really have to live up to your potential. So to really choose a client where you can actually grow with them, and to those expectations that they had, or that someone who has recommended you felt that you're the right person for the job. So, but that for me has always been a double motivator, like to achieve success for the client, and also to live up to someone's recommendation.
So you talked about courses, and I just wanted to touch upon that topic at the moment, because there's a lot of people who I speak to, particularly entrepreneurs who've got this great idea, and they want to help the world, they want to solve a problem, but they're not getting their business out the door. And we know a lot about the courses that are promising, 6 figures, build your business. And you touched upon, try different courses. My question to you is why people shouldn't buy an online course promising a successful online business, and why should they instead, hear your advice and actually go to those free courses that build your skills and take the long road instead?
Well, not just free courses. I mean, I'm not against courses. Like, it really, that depends on the course, but I often see people asking the wrong questions. So if you have a wrong question, no answer you receive is going to help you because you're just asking the wrong question. For example, I see people asking, oh, I have 10,000 euros. What should I invest this money in? But as a business, like what business should I start? It's a completely wrong question. Like that's a wrong mindset from the start because nobody can decide that for you. It's your life, your time. So if you buy a course, yes, you can usually get some insight and information, even if it's just something that's been said a million times and just like, said again in a different way, which is the basis of most of the courses, especially in digital marketing. They just rearrange things that you can find online for free. But that's not enough. You have to either have a platform ready, waiting for you, where you can immediately practice and implement it, the things that you learn that you can immediately implement, or that you're already working and in the process. So you will, when you hear things, you will be you will have those aha moments. Okay, that's okay. That's what I needed. That's what. So if you're not deep in work, some of those courses may just prove to be completely futile, especially online. And online, it's very difficult to get visibility. So if you choose courses, especially if you're a really young person, like fresh out of college or still in college, uh, having a university degree is a very good starting point. And what universities do today is they learn you how to learn, which is really a good thing. And they help you out with this network. Even though they're very slow to change and to adapt to the new knowledge that's coming in continuously. So you should really embrace this lifelong learning concept and just continuous learning. So maybe choose those courses and platforms that offer really great certificates, such as Udemy or Coursera or Khan Academy, HubSpot, CXL. Even LinkedIn platform has LinkedIn Learning, and you get to keep those certificates on your profile. I mean, you can upload all these certificates in your profile and slowly build it up. There are others like Skillshare, Future Learn, etc. Personally, I have had this great opportunity, and it doesn't matter how far into your career you get. But you can choose your like specialty. I chose digital psychology and neuromarketing because for me, as a content strategist and content marketer and business consultant, for me it was really important to focus on the psychology part of it. And being also a business and life coach, it was really complementary. So you kind of, after a while, start choosing your niche. I mean, when you start, you're probably going to be doing everything. And unfortunately, in the business environment, people are still looking for those unicorns who, who get to do everything all the time, who know everything, who are experts in design, in SEO, in copywriting, in content writing, in ads across platforms, in Google ads, in like Google My Business. So people think one person can do it all. And usually if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably gonna have to do it all at some point. But after a while, either you're gonna start running teams with experts who are really experts in those fields. You can never achieve that kind of level of expertise if you're really doing all of that. Or you will choose your specific niche and then just become, the best at that specific expert. For me, that's everything content related. And that's why I have colleagues from different areas like Google or, mostly Google is the only thing that I chose not to excel in. So I can have people really who are extremely highly qualified in it. And I think that provides best results to my clients.
What would you say to those people who want to work online, they want to be location independent, but they don't know where to start, and they look at all these courses that are selling online on how to build a successful business, and you see these people promoting their Ferraris and they're promoting their jets and all of that. glamour with the watches and everything, and they're promising you for a minimum amount, you get to copy their framework of business. Because there's a lot of people out there who don't want to take that long road of, building their courses and learning everything. And they just want to go straight to it, because there's a lot of trends right now of remote work, of working from Bali or working from Thailand. What would you say to those people? Should they go down a road that is promising a successful online business through a course or maybe through a mentor? What's your advice on that, really?
Is this several questions in one? Well, sometimes those money scheme courses can be actually really dangerous. They can make people feel depressed, because if they buy a course and they were not ready either for that level, or that course itself doesn't actually provide you with tools and tricks of the trade so that you can actually work, people can become really depressed, and they do not achieve that level of success, and they think it's a problem, that the problem is within them, but it has never been about you. It's just a matter of your wrong choice of a course. There are many really great courses, but the best thing you can do is find a mentor. So I really think that is one of the most important things. And COVID has shown us that it's in fact possible to work remotely and be happy. And I think a lot of people have started abusing the fact that there are so many people trying to achieve that digital nomad dream, and failing to really focus on the person itself. That's why I mentioned that I kind of approached this whole thing holistically. Like, you cannot work perfectly and be happy if that simply doesn't make you happy. So it all comes back to us. So we work for clients, but we level our life and work according to how we feel. So if you have that satisfaction from a job well done and you do your job well, you're close to reaching your purpose. And it's not so much about the money or fame or where you work from. If you work at a corporation, or if you work from Bali, from a beach with a coconut in your hand, then it comes down to the same thing. You're happy. So you shouldn't really look for those quantifiable things that you might want to measure. Some people would die in a corporate setting, and some people, like from boredom or just like suffocate. And some people would be petrified even thinking of packing their bags and going to Thailand or Vietnam or, I don't know, Singapore and working remotely. But there are a couple of like really specific pieces of advice that I can say. So try whatever you do, even if it's some, let's say, shitty job. So try to save up for at least 3 to 6 months, to have 3 to 6 months savings, so you can actually live without working for at least half a year, so that you can actually test things. Like, so you can try. The entire marketing today and for a while now has been based on really testing things. You don't have to go all into something without previously maybe just touching base with it and trying. And like my mentor Neva Rajković always says, if it doesn't fit or if it doesn't work for you, well, change it. You're not a tree. Like, you can move, you can walk away, and just don't get fixated on that one thing. There's a story about this monkey who found a walnut in a tree, and he just grabbed it, but he couldn't pull his hand out, and he was starting to starve, and he eventually died of hunger just because he wouldn't let go of that one sure thing. So he had this walnut in his hand, and it was the one sure thing that he had, but he couldn't use it. And then what he didn't see is that the entire field was covered with walnuts. So there are plenty of opportunities everywhere around you if you really work hard and look around. And I think people should really focus on that, like choose courses. There are courses that are paid, but um, I think I would like to emphasize that you should probably look for platforms that offer networks as well. So some support after you finish the course, because usually it's just like, oh, I had the course, I'm done, I have a certificate, and now what? So that's a question that I usually see people ask, like, what am I going to do now? So I have a certificate, I have some knowledge. So that's the biggest trick. You have to really find a place where you can implement that knowledge immediately, because it becomes obsolete so quickly.
How does one person know that they're in the right direction? Because obviously you talked about courses. Um, I from experience can tell you that when I started my agency, I was doing the courses, I was speaking to people, to trying to upgrade. But one of the challenges that I was going through was there was no feedback. And one of the things that you have at your job is that, when you're going in the right way or the wrong way, you've got a manager to tell you that, right? But when you're building your business, a lot of people don't have that feedback. So my question is, how does one person know that they're going in the right direction, because they're facing so many hurdles, and at some point you just feel like giving up and you think, I've tried so many things. So how will they know that they're on the right way?
Again, that gut feeling, I mean, our guts are really our second brain, but finding a good mentor. So I would rather pay a good mentor who is a business professional, who has actually ran business or worked in a corporation like my mentor did, than pay someone whose career is selling courses. And I think that should be your biggest red flag. Like, don't buy courses from people who haven't worked a day in their lives. Like, really, just, I think that part should even be regulated a little bit, like legally. Um, I just, maybe I was lucky to find my mentor when I was feeling really low, and just before I opened my entrepreneurship business. I was always working something part-time, and I've been a freelancer for, well, is it 20 years almost? Like, I've done some other non-digital marketing related things
Time.
since I can remember, but sporadically. And then I started working as a copywriter at this marketing agency by simply applying to a job. So there is no problem. It's not an issue if you start working for an agency and learning the job and getting internships, working for less money while you learn the job, because what you're there to learn is invaluable. That's what you need. You need to learn things. People sometimes say, oh, internships are so poorly paid, or they're even free. But do you know how much, in example, a senior manager's time costs? Like, it costs a lot. And he or she sits down with you and teaches you from their own time, investing in you. And that's a great thing. I mean, I had my own share of HR failures. So hiring people out of sympathy has not proven well. And but it's also a question of a bad match. So in this example, I hired a person who was miserable at that job, like, because he did it poorly daily. Like, he was really frustrated. And I even had my other members of the team complaining because they were always fixing his mistakes. And that was not a good match. So in that case, it's not cruel. It's really better for that person to do something else. So maybe just try looking for those internships rather than courses. Some things where you can actually make contacts and just build your network of people, contact, like connect with people whom you are in those courses with, because you already have something that connects you, and that's that course. But if you see that course is offering nothing but like videos that you can learn from, ask for your money back. You just say, I made a mistake, I don't like this. this is not what I thought. Please, I want a refund. Like, it's not, people sometimes are too afraid to say no or to express their negative feelings. But in business, sometimes you really have to. And if you're building your future, why would you rather waste money than say, I expected something else? Also, like with your clients or with whomever in your life, learn saying no and really dissect things. Don't go to things because they're popular. Try to really think. But having a good mentor can help. I had a young boy recently who wanted to buy a course, and he was really oblivious of the fact that the person who was selling that course was actually in jail so, for scams. And so he was shocked, but he asked me and I told him, and he ended up getting a Udemy course and immediately testing out these AI platforms that he was interested in and actually building some videos, etc. What he actually wanted to do with less time and far less money that would otherwise go to waste. So if you don't have a mentor, and in example, your parents, they don't know anything about marketing, etc., but they know you. They know you, like your core self. Consult with them. Like, get as many opinions as you can, but don't get stuck on them. Just like try to see what's your own path, but just try to learn how to listen to people.
So you've obviously built a lot of businesses. You've built your business. You've mentored and you've helped other people. What is a great online marketing strategy that's worked for you and for other people? I know it's a very broad question.
Try to, because I'm answering really broadly so far. I hope you're not gonna like complain. Well, I'm not a very typical marketing person per se, because I usually tend to nurture very close relationships with the brands I work with as my own personal metric for work. But I working at marketing agencies, there was a little thing that I really hated. I saw firsthand how little they pay attention to their brands and how they do things just to, tick the boxes in those procedures, or just make campaigns without really caring about how they perform, or without ever looking back, or just like, we need a report, we need 2 campaigns, we need this visual, this like video. But there was no commitment to the fact that your success is measured by the success of your brand. Almost always there are issues that I'm going to mention that are not up to us as digital experts, unfortunately. But my best growth marketing strategies so far have been UGC. So I adore user-generated content. It's sometimes really hard to obtain, and you cannot use it in all industries. But an example, in HoReCa, in like hotels, restaurants, and cafes, and tourism, it's really, you cannot go wrong with it. But also anything that relies on visual, like where people can share their own impressions of your brand, because people trust other people, and it's really based on Cialdini's principles, and that's something that works like a charm. I'm just going to say that by using this strategy, a restaurant I work for now has bookings 6 months in advance. So that was a shock even for me, like, because
How did you do
really
that?
grown in the popularity. Another thing is like PR, just general PR, like, and people usually confuse marketing and PR. It's different. Try to attract people with some, ingenious ways and creative ways. For those purposes, sometimes I use the influencers, like influencer marketing. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I found, and it has been in theory said, I think 3 or 4 years back, it's been really in focus in marketing that micro influencers are far better because if you use big influencers, sometimes that content can just disappear in the amount of content and in the amount of how big they are. While especially if you're working locally, those micro influencers, if you can pinpoint them really carefully, they really bring engagement, followers, and trust. They build your brand up, and I trust in that strategy as well. Also, I would advise all digital marketers never to forget about the fact that we have ATL and BTL strategies, above the line and below the line. And when I was a marketing director at this language school, radio commercials were really bringing in people, TV, PR talks. I would go to TV shows and present things, and we would actually get direct calls after that. Maybe not from your direct audience, but sometimes from other people, such as grandma or grandpa from a child that needs to enroll would approach us and just ask to enroll. So just have this big picture of what marketing actually is, and invest in project management. This is what I wanted to mention, because without appropriate tools and platforms, you're gonna have a lot of issues, and your clients will have a lot of issues. I have actually seen a lot of businesses fail out of pure stubbornness or not realizing how much they hinder their own business without procedure. So if you refuse to follow up procedure, and if you get all these strategies and do not implement them, then you cannot expect your business to thrive. Like, really, you need to have a set system for implementation. So I found that that's a huge issue. And also investing in stories, like storytelling. It's been a buzzword for a long time in content marketing, but people kind of still are slow to invest in their stories as, I think, brands. And for that, you need to collaborate with the brand and their mission and vision. And usually, a lot of businesses don't have that. Like, they fail to really prepare their basic, which is a business plan, before you even start working. So you have to nurture your story, and you really have to celebrate your brand. And if you're working for a brand, you have to do it for them and push them, like their birthdays, find the important dates. Just have that open mindset that people and clients will then be really thrilled to participate in your vision for that brand.
Wow, Maria, this has all been great. Like, you are a full of knowledge, and I'm so happy that I got you here. Definitely, our viewers and our listeners are gonna go away with this podcast with a lot of learnings. It's just amazing. Like, you just don't stop. Boom, 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 boom. It's all great. It's all great. And like I said, you're full of knowledge, and I absolutely appreciate you coming on this podcast. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge and your 20 plus years of experience in business and in marketing, and just giving your 2 cents on, even on psychology, So I do appreciate so much your time and coming on our podcast. Is there one thing before you go? Is there one thing that you can mention on how people can find you if they want to get in touch with you? Maybe seek out some consultations, or just generally how to connect with you.
Well, even though I'm in digital marketing, I'm a very secluded person in a way. So all my private accounts are locked, and just don't contact me there. I don't add people that I don't know personally. But LinkedIn is open for business, so you can find me, Marija Todorović Aska, there, or you can send me an email, askamediasocial@gmail.com. Sometimes people contact me via Facebook. I mean, I personally have found some jobs via Facebook, so I wouldn't throw that platform out just yet. But yeah, I think email is the best way. And then LinkedIn is also, I'm open to contacts, just like write why you are trying to contact me and I will reply when I see it. And I also have, I have a online magazine. So you can follow askamedia.com and contact me there, or follow Instagram of Aska Media and I will see you there as well.
Make sure to put all those links below in the comments so people can just reach out to you and also visit your various businesses. And I do appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I will catch up with you again soon,
Okay.
hopefully.
Thank you, Seth.